Hello there, welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the top stories that we are tracking this hour. GST relief for small traders and exporters. Rates tweaked on 27 items. IGST relief for 6 months for exporters. Prime Minister says goods and simple tax is now simpler. India and European Union signed 3 agreements after summit-level meeting. Terrorism figures prominently in the talks. Delegations demand immediate termination of any support to terrorist groups. India confirms there is no new development at the face-off site in Doklam region. This after China defends the presence of its troops there. International campaign to abolish nuclear weapons wins Nobel Peace Prize. Committee says recognition at a time when risk of nuclear weapons being used is greater than it has been for a long time. And India lose opening match at ongoing Under-17 FIFA World Cup, go down 3-0 to US at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi. The government has announced relief measures for SMEs and exporters on GST. Rates of 27 goods and 12 services have been revised. But the Prime Minister said that the revision has made the goods and simple tax even simpler. Here are all the details.
Big announcement by the government on the GST. After a marathon 8-hour-long GST Council meet, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley announced that composition threshold limit under GST has been enhanced from 75 lakh rupees to 1 crore. Under the composite scheme, traders will pay 1%, manufacturers 2% and restaurants 5%. GST taxpayers up to 1.5 crore rupees turnover can now file their return on a quarterly basis in place of monthly basis.
जिनकी 1.5 करोड़ तक की टर्नओवर है, 1.5 करोड़ की टर्नओवर है और इसमें लगभग 90% असेसीज कवर हो जाएंगे, जो आउटसाइड द कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम है, वो अब मंथली रिटर्न के स्थान पर क्वार्टरली रिटर्न फाइल करें। जो 1.5 करोड़ से ज्यादा टर्नओवर वाले हैं, वो पुरानी व्यवस्था के मुताबिक जीएसटी 1, 2, 3, 3B सब उसी हिसाब से फाइल करते रहेंगे।
The Finance Minister also said that items including khakra, plain chapati, food packets under the Integrated Child Development Services Scheme and unbranded namkeen will now be taxed at 5% instead of 18%. GST rates on unbranded medicines have also been reduced from 12% to 5%. Tax on parts of diesel engine has been reduced from 28% to 18%. To contain the cost of irrigation schemes involving high amount of labour, GST rate has been brought down to 5%. Exporters will start getting refunds of their input credit for the month of July from 10th of October and for August from 18th of this month. Exporters will have e-wallet from the 1st of April 2018 for getting their refunds.
एक e-wallet हर एक्सपोर्टर का बनेगा। उस ई-वॉलेट में एक नोशनल अमाउंट उसको एडवांस रिफंड की दृष्टि से दिया जाएगा और इस क्रेडिट के माध्यम से जो उसकी प्रोडक्ट्स का आईजीएसटी या जीएसटी देना है वो लोग देंगे।
A group of ministers has been asked to go into the issue of extending the composition scheme on interstate sales as well as rationalizing taxes on restaurants. The group of ministers will also look into whether manufacturers availing composition scheme can claim input credit on 2% GST paid by them.
इसकी एक व्यवस्था बनाने की कोशिश की है जिसमें जो लार्ज टैक्स, जिसके पक्ष यह है कि जो मेजर टैक्स कलेक्शन है लगभग 94-95%, जो बड़े प्लेयर से आता है उसका एकदम फ्लो बढ़ता रहे। दूसरा, जो मीडियम और स्मॉल टैक्स पेयर्स हैं वो टैक्स नेट में रहें ताकि टैक्स बेस बढ़ता रहे, लेकिन उनका कंप्लायंस बर्डन हम लोग रिलैक्स कर दें।
The GST relief to SMEs and exporters and the tax rate cut on 27 items came after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's assurance that the government is committed to reversing the economic slowdown. Reacting to the GST Council's announcement, the PM said on Twitter, "Good and simple tax becomes even simpler. Today's recommendations will immensely help small and medium business. GST is in line with our constant endeavour to ensure interests of our citizens are safeguarded and India's economy grows." Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the decision of the GST Council has been welcomed by different states. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister and Finance Minister Manish Sisodia has appreciated the move, but he also argued that the tax has to be made accountable for time-bound delivery. Let's take a look.
ठीक फैसला हुआ है, छोटे व्यापारियों को राहत मिलेगी, लेकिन 1.5 करोड़ से नीचे के व्यापारी जब 1.5 करोड़ से ऊपर के व्यापारी के साथ किसी भी तरह का कोई ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहा होगा, ट्रेडिंग कर रहा होगा, वहां उसको प्रॉब्लम होगी, उतना ही कॉम्प्लेक्स सिचुएशन होगी या उससे ज्यादा हो सकती है।
जीएसटी में आज का बात इतना गहरा था, ये सारे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव टेक्निकल मैटर्स था जिसमें इम्प्लीमेंटेशन इजियर होगा। इससे सबसे बड़ा चीज हुआ था जो कंपोजिशन स्कीम में था, कंपोजिशन स्कीम में 75 लाख से बड़ा था, उसको एनहांस करके 1 करोड़ कर दिया जाए।
And not just politicians, the traders across the country also welcomed the government's move. Let's listen into some of the reactions.
ये बहुत बड़ी राहत मिली है लोगों को, जो मेंटली एक स्ट्रेस हो गया था कि हम कहाँ से पैन नंबर बनाएंगे, आधार बनाएंगे, बिल भी चाहिए लेकिन वो दे नहीं पा रहे थे ये सब चीजें, डॉक्यूमेंट, तो उससे उनको काफी रिलैक्स मिल गया, आसानी से परचेस कर सकते हैं। और त्योहार के पहले जो इस तरह की घोषणा करी है जेटली जी ने, हम उनके थैंक्स कहते हैं उनको।
जैसे टैक्स भरते हैं, अगर तो जैसे 3 मंथ वाला जो टैक्स आ रहा है उससे ये है कि व्यापारी को थोड़ा राहत मिलेगी।
नहीं, इससे जो हम लोगों का बिजनेस है वो इजी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि देखिए जो लोग आते थे हमारे यहाँ, जरूरी नहीं, बहुत लोगों को अवेयरनेस नहीं इस चीज की कि उनको 2 आईडी देनी है, एक पैन कार्ड भी देना है और साथ में एक जो है आईडी प्रूफ भी देना है, तो उसकी वजह से बहुत से कस्टमर आते थे और लौट जाते थे। जब वो होता नहीं, पास कोई चारा नहीं होता था कि हम उनको सामान नहीं बेच सकते। अब कम से कम इससे ये होगा कि हमारे फेस्टिवल के सीजन में हमारे कस्टमर्स नहीं लौटेंगे।
On to some other news now. The centre has made a biometric identification Aadhaar mandatory for all post office deposits, PPF, National Savings Certificate Scheme and Kisan Vikas Patra. The deadline to provide the 12-digit unique identification number Aadhaar is 31st of December 2017. The recent move by the government is in continuation with its push for Aadhaar. The government has insisted on quoting Aadhaar for bank deposits, obtaining mobile phones and several other utilities. As many as 135 schemes will be covered under Aadhaar, including the free cooking gas schemes to poor women, kerosene and fertilizer subsidy. Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu held consultations with stakeholders in the national capital on Friday to give a fillip to the export sector and make India an export hub. The deliberations flagged the global and domestic challenges faced by the exporters as well as possible solutions to overcome such challenges. The meeting also provided inputs for a new export strategy focusing on integrating India into the regional and global value chain.
We agreed that each of the Export Promotion Council is now going to prepare a concrete strategic action plan for what can be done in the foreseeable future, what can be done in the medium term, so that our exports can be increased with specific focus on specific product range.
And India and the European Union have decided to increase cooperation in development and business. They also decided to come forward to cooperate with each other on climate change. They also discussed many issues of global and regional importance. Here are all the details.
European Union authorities on Friday held their summit-level meeting in Delhi with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Chairman of European Council Donald Francisek Tusk and European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker led a delegation of 28 European nations. 3 agreements were signed after the summit. They included one on cooperation in scientific research, a loan of €300 for Bangalore Phase 2 metro project, and cooperation in establishing an interim secretariat of International Solar Alliance, mooted by India in the last climate change summit held in Paris. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also asked European countries to reduce prices of green technologies.
पिछले वर्ष के हमारे एजेंडा 2020 और 13th शिखर सम्मेलन में लिए गए निर्णयों के क्रियान्वयन की आज हमने समीक्षा की। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ मिलकर काम करने और इस विषय पर अपने सुरक्षा सहयोगों को बढ़ाने पर हम दोनों सहमत हैं। इस विषय पर हम न सिर्फ द्विपक्षीय स्तर पर अपना सहयोग मजबूत करेंगे, बल्कि वैश्विक मंच पर भी अपना सहयोग और समन्वय बढ़ाएंगे।
Terrorism figured prominently in the talks between the delegations. While the European delegation supported India's concerns, they also demanded immediate termination of any financial or arms to support terrorist groups.
We have agreed to develop our dynamic trade and investment relations, and that we have agreed to step up cooperation on global and regional issues. Let me briefly touch on some of these topics. We adopted a joint declaration on counter-terrorism in which we agreed to counter violent extremism and radicalization, particularly online, and deal effectively with the threat posed by foreign terrorist fighters, terrorist financing, and arms supply.
India and the European delegations also discussed the scope of yet-to-be finalized free trade agreement. The European Union delegation also expressed hope for better collaboration in information technology, but wanted data protection agreement to pave ways for India to be back office for Europe's companies.
This is why I stressed this morning the importance on the need to agree to the highest standards of data protection. Indian companies have specialized in offering back office and IT services to European companies. Many of these services and the jobs that go with them depend on the exchange of data. If India's standards of data protection are converging with those of the European Union will be in a position to recognize the adequacy of India's rules. This is a precondition.
India and European Union are strategic partners, and the delegation had long talks on issues of India's neighborhood, including Pakistan, China, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. The European Union hoped that India will be more liberal in sheltering Rohingya refugees.
European Union is coming forward on the issue of terrorism the way India thinks and faces. There is a scope of cooperation in the IT sector also, but much convergence required on the issue of Rohingya crisis that Asian nations are facing. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Sanjay in Delhi.
On to some other news, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that technology along with managerial excellence can chart a new trajectory for Indian Railways. Now inaugurating a two-day conference, Technological Advancement in Railway and Metro Projects, the Vice President emphasized the need for expansion of Indian Railways. Here is a report.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday inaugurated the International Conference on Technological Advancements in Railway and Metro Projects at the Manekshaw Centre in Delhi. The Vice President said Indian Railways need to plan very meticulously for a massive expansion with forward-looking, efficient technologies and innovative practices, especially when investors across the world are eyeing opportunities in India.
With about 8 lakh crore planned investment, opening up of FDI in retail infrastructure and implementation of GST, I am sure the Indian Railways will stand to benefit, particularly in the long-distance transportation in the years ahead. Technology along with the managerial excellence can chart a new trajectory. Friends,
the Vice President said new concepts like transit-oriented development should be executed and promoted so as to improve lives of people living around the metro stations.
The government of the day should really understand the meaningful suggestions and start implementing and acting, because mobility ability, stability, security, safety is required for sustainability.
The Vice President also said that discussions on the economy and GST should go on, and such debates and consultations are always good for democracy. He asserted that in the long run, GST will be beneficial for all.
This is the most revolutionary taxation transformation that is taking place in the country. And in the future, they will really feel happy that such a transformation has taken place in a vast country like India. And that will really help the people.
The Vice President also expressed hope that the discussions in the two-day conference will provide a fast-track approach to build many state-of-the-art railway systems in India and across the world. The conference was organized by the Defence Infrastructure Planning and Management Council along with the Ministry of Railways, the Ministry of Urban Development and the Niti Aayog. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal and Chairman of the Railway Board Ashwini Lohani were also present on the occasion. With Navikram Singh, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time to slip into a very short break. We'll be back with more news and updates. Stay with us.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square in turn also narrates a message of wisdom.
Thanks for staying with us. China has defended the presence of its troops in the Doklam area. The statement comes over a month after the standoff with India ended. Now, Beijing claimed that its soldiers are patrolling the region to exercise sovereignty according to historical boundary. The Chinese Foreign Ministry also added that the Doklam area has always belonged to it and has been under the effective jurisdiction of it. However, the Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed that there were no new developments at the face-off site in the Doklam region. It also dismissed a report claiming that China had shifted its unused road construction material to the north and the east of the region. The 73-day-long Doklam standoff, which began on 16th of June over PLA's plans to build a road in the area claimed by Bhutan, ended on 28th of August after mutual agreement between India and China.
We have seen press reports on Doklam. There are no new developments at the face-off site and its vicinity since the 20th August disengagement. The status quo prevails in this area. Any suggestion to the contrary is incorrect.
And the centre has set up a study group to examine the problems being faced by the people living near the international border and the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir due to cross-border firing. The group will meet the people living in the border areas of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces deployed there, district administration officials as well as local public representatives, and submit a report within 2 months. According to the Home Ministry, Pakistan has violated the ceasefire more than 600 times so far this year, the highest in a decade, in which 8 civilians and 16 security personnel were killed. The study group would look into the 3 broad issues: demand for land for relocation in the case of shelling, construction of more bunkers, and compensation issues related to shelling. Special Secretary in the Home Ministry, Reena Mitra, will head this team. News from Gujarat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 2-day visit to his home state and he will lay the foundation stones and inaugurate a slew of projects during his 2-day visit. He will kickstart the trip with a visit to Dwarkadhish Temple, followed by laying the foundation stone for 4 national highways projects worth 5,825 crore rupees at Dwarka. He will also address a public gathering here. From Dwarka, he is scheduled to visit Chotila in Surendranagar district, where he will lay the foundation stones for a greenfield airport at Rajkot. Prime Minister will also dedicate a fully automatic milk processing and packaging plant and a drinking water distribution pipeline to the nation. He will also launch the Pradhan Mantri Grameen Digital Saksharta Abhiyan in Gandhinagar. The Grameen scheme was initiated in February 2017 by the government to provide basic digital literacy training to 6 crore citizens across rural India within 2 years, targeting at least one person from every household. He will also visit Vadnagar, his birthplace, for the first time since becoming the Prime Minister in 2014. And in a historic move, the Supreme Court Collegium decided to post on its websites its recommendations on judicial appointments, transfers and elevations. The Apex Court Collegium, led by Chief Justice of India Deepak Mishra, took the decision to ensure transparency in judicial appointments. The information will also indicate reasons for the recommendation or rejection for a name for judicial appointment, transfer or elevation. In the first uploaded resolution, information has been provided about the appointment of 3 judicial officers and 1 judicial member of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal as the judge of the Madras High Court. And the second resolution talks about the proposal for the appointment of 6 judicial officers as the judges of the Madras High Court. On to some other news. The Nobel Peace Prize for 2017 has been announced, and the winner is an anti-nuclear weapons campaign group, ICAN. Announcing the coveted award for this year, the Nobel Committee chairperson said that the risk of nuclear weapons being used is greater than it has been for a long time, especially with nations like North Korea strengthening their nuclear arsenal. ICAN has been working for the past 10 years for nuclear disarmament.
Against the backdrop of an assertive North Korea and Iran strengthening their nuclear arsenals, the Nuclear Disarmament Group International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons won the Nobel Peace Prize for its decade-long campaign to rid the world of the nuclear threat. The committee said its decision comes at a time when the risk of nuclear weapons being used is greater than it has been for a long time.
The organization is receiving the award for its work to draw attention to the catastrophic humanitarian consequences of any use of nuclear weapons and for its groundbreaking efforts to achieve a treaty-based prohibition on such weapons.
Announcing the award, the Nobel Committee highlighted ICAN's tireless efforts to rid the world of nuclear weapons, especially in an era when North Korean crisis is looming large. ICAN, a coalition of over 300 NGOs, was founded in Vienna in 2007 on the fringes of an international conference on the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Based in Geneva in Switzerland, ICAN has been a key player in adopting a historic nuclear weapons ban treaty signed by 122 countries in July. However, the accord was largely symbolic as none of the 9 known world nuclear powers signed it.
We're working very hard on trying to make nuclear weapons illegal. They are not yet prohibited by a treaty, nuclear weapons. And I think that we're trying to change people's minds. People have been accepting nuclear weapons as legitimate tools for providing security for 70 years now. And we're trying to change the mindset, really, that it's not acceptable to threaten to level an entire city just to keep yourself secure.
The ICAN received their prize consisting of a gold medal, a diploma and a check for 9 million Swedish kronor, equivalent to $1.1 million, at a ceremony in Oslo on the 10th of December, the death anniversary of Alfred Nobel. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Spain has softened its tone on Catalonia independence crisis, now apologizing for the violence during Sunday's vote in which hundreds of people were injured. The Spanish government spokesperson apologized to those injured during police efforts to stop the independence referendum. He also called on the Catalan president to return to legality so that they could talk. The apology comes as both the sides look for a way out of the nation's worst political crisis since it became a democracy 4 decades ago. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont appeared to inch away from a plan to declare independence as early as Monday. He is likely to address the Catalan Parliament on Tuesday after Spain's Constitutional Court suspended the Catalan Parliament session that had been planned for Monday. Now remember, Catalonia is Spain's richest region and it accounts for 19% of Spain's GDP. In the referendum vote, which was held on Sunday, 90% of people backed independence.
Lo he dicho antes con toda claridad, cumplían un mandato, no iba dirigido para evitar una votación ilegal, iba dirigido a retirar las urnas. Si hubo incidentes, si los hubo y hay personas que resultaron perjudicadas, evidentemente.
All right, let's get you some more international news now. Here is the World Wrap. The death toll in the suicide attack at a prominent Shia shrine in Pakistan's restive Balochistan province has risen to 22. A suicide bomber detonated his explosives vest when he was stopped by a police officer guarding the Dargah Fatehpur. The attack has been claimed by the Islamic State group. It took place when there was a huge rush of devotees who had gathered at the shrine in the village of Jhal Maski. Nepal's envoy to India, Deep Kumar Upadhyay, has resigned in order to contest the parliamentary elections slated next month. Upadhyay submitted his resignation to Nepal's Foreign Minister Krishna Bahadur Mahara. He is planning to contest the election from the Nepali Congress Party from Kapilavastu. The government of Nepal is yet to decide over his resignation application, which he submitted 11 months after taking charge. And a 6.0 magnitude earthquake rocked Japan's coastline on Friday, recalling the disaster of 2011 in which at least 16,000 people died. Friday's quake struck at about 4 a.m. local time near the Japan Trench, about 300 kilometers away from the Fukushima nuclear disaster site. The most recent quake did not trigger a tsunami and no injuries or damage to buildings were reported. But all eyes remained on the sensitive Fukushima region, which is still recovering from the damage caused by the previous disaster. On to some football news. The United States defeated India in the ongoing FIFA Under-17 World Cup at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Sports Minister Rajya Singh Rathore and AIFF President Praful Patel were among those present during the opening session of the ceremony. The hosts lost by 3-0 from the visitors. In the early minutes of the first half of the game, India saw the efforts go off target after US started putting pressure on Indian goalkeeper. However, India's star forward Thotas scored multiple chances and he impressed the home side with his skills. Now, despite the defeat, the Indian team has shown that it can compete at the highest level. The hosts will now face Colombia on 9th of October, followed by the final group game against Ghana on 12th of October. And in cricket, India will take on Australia in the 3-match T20 series at JSCA International Stadium in Ranchi today. Comprehensive winners in the one-day internationals, India would aim to extend this domination, while Australia would be eyeing a change of fortune. India, remember, had won the one-day series against Australia by a 4-1 margin and they had claimed the #1 spot in the ICC ODI rankings. That's it from me and my team. Thanks so much for watching.